switch it up this time. Sorry, Mike. If you've been here any length of time, you know that's pretty par for the course for me. I have all the best intentions usually, though. Ow. Kind of move the chair. What's it catching? I don't know. How is? Oh, okay. This still doesn't make sense. Whatever. I don't want those hedge trimmers to fall onto my head. Okay. Jakes. What up, Billy? James? Little cockeyed right here. Sitting in the old beat up chair. James, all right, man, that's awesome. It's a game changer, brother. It really is. To be able to depend on something like that, it's nice to have tools in that realm where you can just know that they're gonna get the job done, and you don't gotta stress on it. So, yeah. How is everybody? How's the week started? Anything gnarly for anybody? I kind of had a rough one. I think it started. Billy, what's up, brother? Jay's here. What's up? Mine kind of started on a multi-tree, like on a fence row, wrought iron fence. And the first one I got in, like as I was getting ready to go up it, there was like 4 of them I had. No, yeah, 4 or 5 of them I had to do. I think it actually, when you counted it up, it was like 7 or 8, but like it was a bunch of multi-stemmed ones. So I started on that. Nice fence row, bunch of little ornamentals up underneath it. It's right on the outside of it in the wood area, everything leaning over. So a lot of rigging was involved as we were doing it, and it was just a pain. But the first tree I get into, they let me know as I'm getting ready to head up that there's a hornet's nest in the tree next to it, and it's like right where I need to drop stuff. So that was the way we started everything. It's a different day. Had a couple of idiot customers refuse the job and told them to call. You have to, dude. You have to do that. And I'll talk to you guys. I'm in a bit of a situation right now that I'm having a bit of a mental battle with. So we'll discuss at some point, I'm sure. But what's up, Dan? How are you, buddy? So yeah, I got started on those, but I needed to rig everything, and I bet you we like brushed the hornet's nest multiple times in the process. I think lucky for us, it may have been an old nest or they were dormant already. Thank goodness. And then what's crazy, that night I came out here in my shed and it was at dark, and after I dealt with the hornet's nest all day, I got home and there was a hornet in here, a single hornet. And like I thought it was a wasp at first, but then when I went to swat at him, then he like chased me around the room, and it was like a fight afterwards. So he just kept hitting into me and stuff. So yeah, pretty gnarly. Just a weird coincidence, that I kind of thought was funny. But yeah, I that one was a rough one. There was multiple trees down the fence line, a lot of this silly rigging stuff. and it was one of those little, not the best, it really bad made wrought iron, like to where the metal's pieced together, and if you hit it, it folds, and almost like tin. It definitely not wrought iron. It was a metal fence, but it was supposed to look wrought iron. But like I could take, and before we started, like there was a bunch of spikes down it, like look like upside down spades, and a bunch of them were bent, and I made sure like hey, these are bent, these are bent, these are, but that's not, just so you know, it's not us before we ever even get started. And you could take them and bend them up with your fingers. So it was like, oh, okay, well, this ought to be interesting. You can't even brush it. So maybe I did bring one home with me. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? It just like stayed in my hood back here and hung out. I managed to stay out of trouble. Right on. Yeah. So then after, okay, so I think on the first day I did like four of them, and then the second day, the good thing was like a lot of stuff was able to be free cut because it just had to go into the wood area, but it was on a pretty ignorant grade, and directly butted up against the fence, and the customer, the homeowner for the guy that I was helping, he liked to be part of it, and I like right from the get go. He's just we're different. Sometimes you just find different kinds of people. Hey, what's up from Russia? Right on. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, I think they tear everybody up, ground pounder. I remember being a teenager and we went to a campsite, and we couldn't the whole half of the campsite was shut off up the hill, and we didn't know why, so we went up there, and like, yeah, the yellow jackets chased us, like, I don't know, it was probably a quarter mile down this hill all the way to ours before we finally got away from them, and we were getting stung. Yeah, like, okay, yellow jackets is what you, okay, I read it and then one off on a hornet story. I don't know what I'm thinking, man. um, I had to cram a bunch of tree stuff before I came here, and I'm like all full as far as being able to think. But so I kind of that first day pretty productive. The second day thought we was going to be really quick. It ended up not being. Bit more aggravating. It was the bigger tree I believe left, and then as we were finishing up, it was like, hey, the neighbor wants to know if there's any chance, because you couldn't get any machinery to any of these, so nobody wanted to mess with them. And neighbor wants to know if you could take down the the hickory back there. And of course, like I think I can do any of them. But it was the way it was. Oh, you know what? We'll do this because I want to show this off anyway. Where did that go? So the hickory, let's see, got a fence here into that yard, and then the fence went like this. I reckon you guys probably don't care how nice it's drawn, huh? It's probably just wasting time here. So the wrought iron fence was like this. Okay. So that's one yard. And so this was the original yard we were in. We were on the outside here. Here's the inside of the yard. So, and when we were in here, we take all these out, and the only thing that's left is like up in this corner for the neighbor. And it seems that most people have cleared everything out for the most part, but that is just you could tell was just something that happened as far as the storm damage, and the tree that was there is pretty messed up. So it was right here in the corner, and the tree goes up, goes to the moon. I think it was like a little over 100 foot hickory nut, and had one that leaned like this, and the other one leaned way out over here. Thing. I kind of have to put some attention into it, or it's not even able to be seen. So bear with me here. So they want like this. This tree here. Oh, and first check it out. Greg Brown. Thanks, Greg. Greg sent me some stickers. We got the A team. That's Dano and Greg, and then you got Dano's tree service. So check out Dano's channel. So both of these were one, okay? And this top had broke out and it was over into a neighboring tree over here. So that was kind of the headache for this one. But this one leaned out over so many little ornamental trees that were here in the yard and was just a complete headache and went out at a crazy lean. So what I had to do is we didn't have access to the yard. I think we did end up taking a couple pieces and taglining them off this retaining wall down into the yard, but the rest of it, for the most part, we were swinging over to this stem and down. And normally, I would probably like go over here and work this up first, but it looked like it had been there for so long, I wasn't gonna bother. So we worked up what we could, um, and this part ended up like it wasn't holding as good as I thought. It when I cut some stuff, it broke loose, and just like always, you find yourself to be like right in that area. And I cut a limb loose that was like this, and when I cut that limb, this wasn't resting in the other tree as much as it was resting on this limb. So when I cut it, it came down. This crashed. This was all splintered and messed up here. This one was way bigger of a tree, but yeah, I got some surprises. But I touched base on a few tricks that you can use in these situations in the video. Well, there is no video in the recording of it, so those will be kind of fun to make and put together. But that was just ended up being completely aggravating and a bit sketchy dangerous, but we managed to make our way through that one. I also fell that log down the corner of those fences, a mass, well, two logs, and was super tight and a bit sketchy, especially for the guys helping out. He I'd say day one, if we haven't seen each other in a while, he's like, "That's gonna. You think that'll go? You pretty confident that you know?" After a day or so of being around me, he doesn't even ask anymore. He's like, "Okay, right on. Where do you want to pull it?" So that's always interesting when you change from person to person, and you haven't seen them for a little bit, so they're like trust that they had in you is starting to minimize. But no moisture for over a month now. Nice. Red Box Club for life. I need sled vacation. You guys are crazy. Way behind that. Damn. That's hey. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's get into this week in the tree world. I don't know why Super Chat like now it's like popped up on my phone. It never used to show it. It would just show the thumbs up and the people. And yeah, that's weird. I know I didn't upgrade my phone, but yeah. Hey Jay, thanks again for all of the times that you've done that, brother. You are the man. You definitely. I think what's funny is like the rare super chats that I get overall pay me better than YouTube does, which is insane to me. But maybe I just start like I don't know. I don't want to switch over to memberships. Like that part I just don't really want to do. But maybe I could do that and just do some extra content or something. Or I don't know. Sometimes I just want to stop doing videos and just stream. So no, don't do it. No, dude. Yeah, don't do that. Dang it. That's not what I meant. You're crazy, dude. You're awesome. Hey, you know what's funny? You doubled my. You just doubled. Well, not quite. I think I make $38 a month on YouTube. So you almost paid me 2 months worth. Stop. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You can't. Um, you're amazing. I think it's unreal. If I looked at what, yeah, dude, if you start adding up how many super chats you've done over the years, you're wild, man. Thank you so much, though, dude. It's very appreciated. I just come off feeling very like awkward, and sometimes I feel like I don't show how much I appreciate it in the videos or afterwards. I'm like, dude, I can't believe somebody just super chatted me money, and then and then I'm like, and you were kind of rude about it, and you didn't say thank you, and I start worrying that I was a jerk too. But thank you, James. Hey, yeah, thank you. You guys don't do that. Now I need to start. I'm gonna do mean stuff now. All right, you guys are you guys are awesome. I appreciate you a lot. So I kind of was a little short on stuff to talk about for the live. So I was like, well, I'm gonna start doing a little section where I jump on Facebook, and it's wild. They prioritize super chats over or super thanks or whatever over everything. It like lights it up, and there's a big old thing that comes across my screen. That's wild. Um, we need another climber. Me and Brian can't keep up, dude. That is so awesome, though. It's that's a blessing. That's dude. You're doing something right, man. That's the way that works. But the super chats towards will do, man. Will do. I am in dire need. That's the problem. Like I have like money saved up, and then my daughter will like come down from college, and it turns out she had to go to like an urgent care because she had strep, and then had to buy these medicine, this and that, and it's like, so there's always something that ends up getting in the way or a bill that needs paid. And I'm definitely getting at that point where my saws are just things are getting rough. I just hear I almost like I legit it broke my heart. My 362 pull cord on my saw broke this week. So when I was telling you guys I'm doing them trees that are down that fence row, um, my 362 is my favorite saw of all times. The thing I want to use over anything. So I have it. I get out and I think it was maybe the second day, and I was planning on falling the tree, and I pull on it, and the pull cord breaks out, and I'm like, no. But I mean, it lasted me so long. I'm a drop start guy that I don't drop start by the middle handle. I drop start by the trigger so that I can throttle in if I need sometimes. But the problem is when you do that, you're pulling that rope at an awkward angle, and eventually it'll rub and break off and stuff. So that that was bound to happen, even though I feel like I should have known better. But we're gonna get into it, Ground Pounder. A lot to talk about this week. So yeah, you know what I did? I pulled. Look at that. I'm gonna show you guys. Oh, so I broke my pull cord, and then so I'm like, damn it, what am I gonna do? I don't want to pull the 66 out because it gets packaged way back in the back of my truck. It's hard to get to, and it's just heavy compared, you know. So I'm like, oh, I think I can fix this real quick. I have a really quick way of fixing pull cords where if it breaks, you don't have to take all the stuff out. You can fix it while it's on the thing, and it's pretty simple. And you just you put it on loose, and then you like tie the handle and everything. But then you just coil the rope afterwards, but backspin and get it tight, and it works really good. It's really quick. I do all this the first time that you break a handle, a pull handle on like any kind of a steel saw. They have that like what is the design? I'm looking for one here. I don't think I have a new enough saw, but it's like an anti-shock thing. It's on it like a spring, and it's probably for the kickback when it shuts off. But it is a pain to get it off the handle so you can re-put a rope into the handle. The first time, so aggravating. I hate way too hard. It's like they just want you to go buy a new recoil, or if metal and wood is talk an essay. Okay, so I take all that time. It takes me like legit a half an hour. Normal cases 5 minutes. If I break a pull rope in 5 minutes, I can have the recoil off and I can have the new one on. So I know. I think about that all the time, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I value my crotch too much. I'm just gonna keep job starting. So, Billy, you're funny. I spent all that time, but I'm like, no big deal. It's worth it long term. This is gonna make it 10 times easier to use this saw. He snuck one in. You just Billy. That's funny. So get on out of here. Billy says, get on out of here. Um, so I spend all this time. It takes me like 30 minutes because of the handle. And then right after that, I pulled on it one time. It ripped out and I was crushed. And the cord was way too short. It wasn't even able to be fixed afterwards. I'm like, man, what am I going to do now? I am beyond aggravated. So I realized, oh, I have the 036 back there. That saw that's got the, I call it Juicy Toot. That's the sticker that it has on the saw. But it's a 036 Pro. And it's got like an 18, 20 inch. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, ground pounder. There's enough talk of that everywhere else. We don't need it. I did hear that Steve, I think Steve, I don't remember. I don't remember which side he's on. He's never made it clear. So I pulled all this, and I just need to show you real quick. Here's what I got my pull cord from. I came home, and I took the pull cord and the handle off of this 034 AV flathead. I have another one similar up there, but it is such an old saw. I pulled the pull cord. Actually, this just comes off. You can see there's no pull cord or anything in there. And when I pulled it off, I'm like, this will work. Then I realized, oh, shoot, look how dry rotted it is. So I took it and I soaked it in oil. And I don't mean like I actually soaked it in oil, but I poured oil on it and kind of worked it into the rope and then put it on, and it's been working. So we'll see how long we can get that to hold up. And I should probably buy a pull cord at some point just to have on me, because it will break eventually because it's so old. I mean, I don't even know how old that saw is, but it may be around my age, if not older. So I think it was when they very first started to put anti-vibration into stuff. So it's working. I got lucky. I'll keep you guys updated on that. We'll see how long it ends up working, because I'm not going to change the way that I start a saw either. And I should probably check the little inner ring where the pull, because sometimes you'll get a burr there, that'll tear your ropes up. I don't know why or how it happens. Maybe something catches it or whatever. But yeah, I need to do that. I need to check and make sure there's no burr there that's ripping the rope when I go to start it. But I'm always going to drop start. That's just how I do it. I think it's probably saved my shoulders. And you know, you need a MS 400 or 500i. I agree. I use my brother's 500i um, in one of the videos, and it's very nice. It's a very, very, very nice saw, top notch. I had no complaints with it. The only thing, uh, it's a very aggressive kickback but I think we cut some of the harder, like stringier, knottier stuff, like some of them shag barks, and some of our wood is stupid hard, and maybe that's why it kicked back so hard. But man, the kickback with that saw was gnarly. I used to buy the pull cords by the spool. Oh, right on. Yeah, I remember one time I had was like 660 pull cord. I may still have some of it because I bought more than I needed. But yeah, that's probably what I should do is just buy a. It would be nice to be able to just grab a spool of it. I know that's what I'm saying. I should definitely do that, ground pounder. Every time I see my doctor, like I'll do a checkup, and he's like, doesn't I think I think he thinks that I just like I don't do anything. Like my knees keep me from doing anything. And that's definitely not the case. There, you know what? Then that reminds me, we're gonna get into the news. So, yes, welfare pays. Hey, you're funny. Where is J&J? I think I've heard of them. Yeah, yeah, works for me. I know where. That's funny. And then I remember as I'm getting older, everyone that's my age is like, you know, telling you don't depend on disability or no Social Security. When you get older, you won't get it. It'll be gone by the time we're old enough to get it. And I'm like, okay, like, dude, y'all are stressing on stuff that you don't need to be stressing on. I'm a spaz. I stress like crazy about things, but try to keep it immediate, like something that could happen right. I'm definitely not stressing on things that far ahead. And I think our constant like social media and this instant, you know, gratification of everything that you want, you can get the info right then. I think it makes spazzes out of a lot of us. I really do. But at the same time, I'm on here with you guys religiously. I may not be exactly on time. I may be a few minutes late, but I'm here religiously. Um, and that's probably because this is one of my funner things that I think I do. I don't know, Grandpa. That's just what I'm hearing. Worry about what you have to do today, not yesterday or percent, man. I mean, I always try to keep yesterday in my mind. I do want to try to like do a little better, do a little better, do a little better, if at all possible. You know, I'm more, I am more of a look back on like, did was today's comparison as to yesterday more than I think I am I'm kind of a spur of the moment kind of guy. Even my wife says it. When we do things, it's just randomly like, let's go to Branson or, you know. So, but at the same time, when I decide to do something, it needs to be very delegated and deliberate. And so it's a rough mix, man. It's a rough mix. My wife, she's a saint to put up with me. So Ground pounder, you're always, dude. It's funny. I'll go through my phone and it's nothing but like, uh, after like when I went to go scan stuff that went on this week, uh, it was like nothing but thumbnails of you eating burgers. I'm like, what in the heck? Chris, what's going on, man? How are you? So I get on Facebook. This is the weekly news. Something we do every week. Don't take anything that I do in this part of the video serious. This is our time to crack fun, be crack jokes, make fun, crack fun. I I told you I'm losing it. So the what we do is ridiculously stressful. So don't take any of this too serious. And plus, my opinion is it's the opinion of one dude, one random hillbilly. So don't take it. Don't let it affect you. Like if yeah, yeah, this that. Like I don't want to. I don't want to be the reason for anybody feeling bad. But some things need to be talked about, and fun needs to be made, and this is just how I'm gonna do it. So, um, I'm not gonna explain that every time. Eventually, I hope to be able to go. This is the new. I want to have music that I hit. I should have like a news desk, come out in a suit and everything. But when I start making thousands of dollars doing this, we'll do all that. Um, so I started out Facebook. What are you guys doing? I got away from Facebook because it was just it was just always a bit just all over the place. As far as negative, it was gnarly. Like it's almost like guys are afraid to be positive to anyone on Facebook unless everyone else has told you it's okay to be positive towards them. Guys are afraid to like something unless everyone else is liking it. It is very much a gang mentality when it comes to the industry on Facebook. I find that to be strange, but I also don't mind that I'm a loner. I'm okay being by myself and having nobody. That's just me. So, well, if you heard me this morning, then well, maybe I should. You're funny. It's all good, Mike. We need to laugh. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So I get on Facebook. I'm scrolling. I'm like, dang. Um, and like, let's be serious before we get a bit more lighthearted and jokey with things. The job's dangerous. Someone passes away. People die doing this on the daily. Oh, and hey, YouTube puts way too much emphasis in the thumb thing. So if you guys don't mind, whether you like it or dislike it, one or the other gives feedback to YouTube that you can tell them that I suck more than the rest of the guys, or it's good. But see how awkward it is when I have to ask for the stupid thumbs up. I don't think I should have to. The work's dangerous, and like the first thing when I get on YouTube is someone passed, and there was a lot of that when I used to. That's where I started before I got on YouTube. I found tree work on Facebook, and I had no social media at all. I found Facebook. I was like, wow, this is cool. Um, and then it just grew from there. I found YouTube, from people putting videos onto Facebook. I thought people were just uploading videos to Facebook. I didn't even know about YouTube, and so, and if I feel like that wasn't that long ago either. So I'm sending you a baby picture, and what I uh, so Yeah, a feller has passed. I think he passed him. It was in Florida, I believe. And the family's still trying to figure out what's going on with, what happened. I believe it was from trimming palms, and I find palms to be insanely dangerous. And it's just, I think, my opinion, you just have to make every part of the job work for you. There are ways to adjust. Like I've seen a lot this week where people were talking about um, base anchoring and it not being good. It is very much quicker, easier, and effective. If you can base anchor, I go ahead, go up, get your high point, get your rigging, and then let me show you something that I do a lot of times that allows me to use a base anchor and continue to work without having to have it disconnected, set a canopy anchor, switch everything around. So a lot of times I'll have a tree that I'm in. A little hard to do this upside down, but we'll give it a try. Okay, tree. So throw the rope up, goes through that crotch, down, and through there. Okay, so if I'm working this up, so we're base anchored right here. We got the climber. This is so weird to do upside down. Attached somehow. Oh my god, that looks like penis. Happiness. So you have like the climber hooked up. Apparently he's tied on with his shirt or something. I don't even know. But what people are afraid of is that after you get up or you get to working, you hit this other side of the line and you fall because you're anchored here. So what I'll do a lot of times is I will use this to my advantage because it's much easier to set up than trying to access a singular limb and be tied in. I will go straight up, and when I get up here, I do a little trick where I will get into. I'll use this rope here. I'll get into a good crotch there and get positioned really nice. And after I feel like I'm in a good enough position where I can just lanyard in and not worry about, slipping out and I can stay balanced, I won't untie myself. So at all times I'm tied in, I'm very, very, very safe, and well, as safe as you can be. Um, I'll get up there. So this is my tie, my rope, and my tie. We'll say my tie-in even. I wish I had something to where I just hook it up over it, but it's going down the other side, base anchored. This goes up in the air. I would get up there. I would stand in that crotch. I would hook this up. I would take some slack out of my system, and right above my tie-in, I would tie an alpine butterfly, or I prefer the triple bowline, or it's also called the circus knot. I think I call it the circus knot most of the time. So I would tie this in. Then on this tree, like right up, where did I put that marker? Shoot, figures. I'll use this. So like right up here, after I climbed up, went up here, and I stood like right here in this fork, I would take a strap and I would put a strap right here and I would clip this knot into it. So now, if I was to go back down and I'm in the tree and I'm coming down and I hit this, I'm fine. It's up here. I'm anchored here. And then it's also not putting the forces all over. So when you do that, it's just a simple backup. 99% of the time, especially if you're removing anything, you have to go back up there anyway. So set up, and I turn it into a canopy anchor, that is backed up by a base anchor. I see a lot of guys saying you can't use the base anchor when you're doing that. That's definitely not true. You just need to go up and figure out the safest way to set that system up. And in my opinion, that is the safer way. And I think that could help a lot of people that like to use that technique. But you still, no matter what, you have another rope there with the potential that you could cut it. Let's see. What did Chris say? My bad. I could see the search and rescue guys here. They're able to do something, but I wouldn't want to test that theory. I know. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, the problem was, I think it. They say the tree had a beard, and I guess that it kind of closed in on him. Now, I hope his family, they're. I hope God takes care of them. Everything works out for them, and they can. This is a hard, hard, hard time for them right now. I know that they want answers to everything, but I hope that my family, if anything was to ever happen, they just understand the danger of my job, and that it only takes a simple negligence on my part for a split second for something to go fatally wrong, and that's on a daily basis. So I get where they're coming from, and I feel for them big time. But can we use it as an opportunity to maybe learn a little bit from it? Is there a safer route when doing those? Is kind of what I want to discuss. I was checking comments, and a guy that I really respect, Isaac Nodlin, Nodlin, I think. He's a climber from Hawaii, just a radical dude. He's just awesome. He's just awesome. An amazing climber. Has a hell of a mustache on him. So I would say he reminds me of Randy. Randy is the Mandy. He reminds me of him. But he touched on the importance of the ability on a stationary line to still be able to move. If you're up in a tree and at some point something smashes onto you or grabs a hold of you and your line can no longer move, like if you dropped a big log onto your nest of rope down there. So when you're on a dual rope, it's got to move. If you dropped a big chunk and it landed on your rope, you can't go down no more. Your rope needs to move. On a stationary line, you can still move. So, like doing palm trees, I wonder if it would be safer always to be on a stationary line in case you was to get trapped. You don't have to worry about your line. I think a lot of them things kind of like have razors to them too, so they like hook. So I could see them stopping a moving line system from even working. And I never personally thought about this. Palm trees is I've seen them one time when I went to Florida, and I did. I wanted to cut one. It's just instinct, my own personal instinct, and that's what up, William. You know, but I don't have experience with them. That's the first time I've really ever thought about that, but that really, really makes sense to me. A tree guy, how are you, brother? As I understand, you need to trim from top down in order to stop the ship from dropping on you. Yeah, and you have to go. That I don't see how that's possible. I've seen guys trim that stuff out, and there's definitely an art and a technique to it. But I think that may be the learning thing here. That if you're doing those, a moving rope system would be much more dangerous because it has the potential to get pinched up, stopped, and not be able to move. And when a moving system when a moving system can't move, you are stuck. You can't do anything. So maybe just a little thing to think about for everybody, especially you guys that deal with the palms. is it safe to use a moving rope system? You know, I get comfortable being comfortable, more comfortable with that system as opposed to an SRT, but man, I see in that aspect there a moving rope system being very scary, very very scary. Dan saved you right on. I think I'd pass on the palm tree work. Yeah, I think it's they're their own thing, man. I think those guys have their own techniques. I think it's its own thing. I really do. My brother from another one. Moving rope on a palm. So is that a I wonder if that's like maybe like a standard kind of thing in palm work because the guy that I was listening or that I kind of took this idea from, Isaac, um, he's from Hawaii. I'm sure he does plenty of palm trees, and he was like one of my favorite dudes to kind of keep up with on Facebook. He's a bit of a cowboy, and I just yeah. He just seems like a very, very smart, intelligent fella. Seems to know what he's talking about on stuff. So I I wanted to kind of touch base on that, but didn't know. I don't really I don't really know much about palm. So a flaming arrow. Hey, that if that gets her done, right on. I climbed in Vegas and in Florida. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about them being in Vegas. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of places that have them, huh? Because I only associate them with like Florida and then maybe Cali. So, and I guess any coastal regions, and then even as much as Vegas. And yeah, I've never. I don't know that I probably ever will, but maybe if I shoot down to one of them states, I would like to one day. I use a slingshot single rope over the canopy. ISRT. Right on. Yeah, just something I thought about, like a moving rope getting pinched up and then you can no longer get down. So, um, then I started scrolling a little further. I'm like, well, Facebook, okay, let's, that kind of started out things off on like oh man, this is why I don't get on Facebook. First thing I see is a climber died, and I'm like, God, dog. And then next across is the most common post other than rate my hinge, what would you charge? And it's I'll never climb again. And there's a guy all the time asking, I'll never climb again. And and then in the comments, people are being like, no, you can do whatever you want, man. You don't, you just you gotta figure a different way to do it and this and that. And I agree with that 100%. I think you're gonna have to adjust things as you start to get older, or you have an accident, and you can do a lot of things that people say you can't. And I think that's maybe one of my concerns with going to a doctor or a hospital because they're gonna tell me I can't do something that I would have done if I had yet to hear somebody tell me I couldn't, or you'll never do this again. Then it just puts it into my brain. That possibility is not even there, and I like that. So, with my accident, I was checked by my doctor a month later, and was lucky that God must have been looking out for me. I made it through. It just, I don't know why I was blessed and lucky, and somebody else wasn't. But I'm very grateful that I, was able to recover. And I feel for any of those guys, but it just seems like every time I get on Facebook, that's there's some guy posting that, and the comment section is always the exact same. So there'd be a lot of people showing support. You know, those same guys that show you the support are the guys that are like, this is you're a hack and this and that. So it's like, yeah, it is what it is, man. Facebook's wild in my opinion. Farmers in the home, line over it. What did SRT look like? Oh, that's crazy. What is ghetto palm? Tree of heaven? Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, most invasive species here. So after that, I stumble across this. Maybe I'm just not. There are certain people that rub you the wrong way. They just when you see them, you're just like, I don't know about him. And I maybe we seem to often the people that we feel that way about. They tend to be similar. Mine with a lot of you guys. So what does everybody think about Strider Tree? Has a YouTube channel, you know, probably the smartest guy in tree work. So he's competing with Kevin from Game of Trees, but really, really, really the smartest guys. And I think it just, to me, comes off very cocky, like he has main character syndrome too much, and like could be very condescending. So, but I stumbled across one of his posts, and I was like, "What? What does this even mean?" Homes look like shit because they shouldn't be there. Yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense. The tree going between the roof and the gutter. I think he is a poster boy. Is he? Yeah, I think so too. He's like an industry plant. Say this, say that. We will pay. Yeah, 100%. A Muppet. I call those people Muppets. I'm sorry, but you know, there are a lot of guys that I follow doing tree work that have had Muppet moments. But and that's what we'll say. We'll kind of categorize that as I see it and I go along. But he puts out a post. He I think it was just a reason for him to post a video of him rigging out a top, speed lining a top across the top of a house, and it read, repeatedly taking chances with a small probability of failure but high consequence is what we do as tree people. There's a couple more sentences, and then it ended with minimize minimize exposure to worst outcomes whenever possible. And I just didn't make any. I'm like, I feel like he's sitting there with like a thesaurus sitting next to him. That just with a thesaurus sitting next to him, and he's like, let's see if I was reading that as a normal person. What? Okay. Okay. This is how it would read if you were a normal human, like just a guy that does tree work. I'm taking a lot of chances doing sketchy, scary stuff, dangerous. Okay, I'm taking a lot of chances doing dangerous tree work. Don't kill yourself or die. So I feel like like a 4 or 5 line with the commas and all kinds, big old paragraph, and I like broke it down into about 4 words there. But let's try that again. Repeatedly taking chances with a small probability of failure, but high consequence is what we do as tree people. Minimize exposure to worst outcomes whenever possible. I don't know. Sometimes you can try to look smart and come off looking stupid, like really stupid. Like the little kid that pulls down his pants in front of people just for that attention. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I like how consequent. I like low consequences. I'm not into smashing either. That's what I'm saying. I'm okay. So when I seen it, I was like repeatedly taking chances with a small probability of failure. So if there's no probability of failure, you're not repeatedly taking chances. That's like an oxy. They don't go together. You can't do that. That's not. So you have high consequences, but a small probability of failure, and you're doing it a lot. It gets very confusing, and I tried to break it down into layman's terms, and I just had to come to the realization that he's just way smarter than me, and I'm just not on his level. So I think he's in his. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's Chris. That's facts. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It was babble. I just thought it was funny. I tore putting shit William says right on. Yeah, yeah. There is risk anytime you pull that chainsaw out. That's 100% right. I mean, you're definitely not lying. So after that, I stumble across this wild post on steel chainsaw fans, and homeboy just bought him a new chainsaw. He popped the clutch cover off, and the clutch moved a little bit. It had a little play in it, and the sprocket had a little play in it. And he's like, "Oh my god!" And he like took a video of it and he posted. He's like, "This is a brand new saw, and it's already loose." What do you guys think about that? That's what you call stupid smart? Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I think we're gonna talk about like a lot of stupid smart people here in a little bit. As we keep going here, but yeah, that's a good way to put it, right? Tree guy agrees. Yeah, that's that's normal. That's normal. So that's what a chainsaw is supposed to do. That's self-centering for the sprocket. So I just thought it was funny. You can tell when a homeowner or a lawn service guy gets his first chainsaw and takes the cover off because he's like, I don't know, maybe trying to start it with his crotch or something. Who knows? But I heard that Nokers aren't loose. So the only brand where you have a tight clutch. So you may want to get that fire up that Noker and just go. Oh my God! Yeah, don't break the Noker out until real shit needs to go down. Um, then I there's next post is what's your favorite SRT line? I need to buy an SRT line. The next one was I need $400,000. Where's the best loan place? This is Facebook. This is how stupid Facebook. I need $400,000. I need a $400,000 loan. Where's the best loan place? But that was normal on tree channels, like on Facebook. That's why I have to get away from it. It's so silly. We stop caring about crap. Oh, dang it. Crap. Oh, I try not to. Yeah, I this is just poking fun. How do you say that? Eltheus? Is that an L or my phone's so cracked up? Sometimes I can't even read y'all's names. Yeah, yeah. It's chances are very high. It's a very risky business, isn't it, Grandmother? So yeah, I'm like, dude, people. Some things you just need to keep to yourself. But it's funny. It's like you get on a tree page and you're like, where can I get a $400,000 loan? Um, I did see the funniest filing video ever. And like, you know how you'll get to filing your teeth on your saw, and it gets that. Let's see if I can. Oh man, I forgot I lost the damn marker, didn't I? Give me just a second. The marker's here. Has to be. Yep, there it is. Okay. So the guy showed. I can't stop dropping stuff. All right. Can I draw a chainsaw tooth? I've seen Bucket do or Buckin do it so many times. I feel like I should be able to. Oh, that's not right. Okay, how would it go like that? That would go out more. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. That would be like that. That would go like that. It's so overly big. I don't. It doesn't even look right now. But I'm gonna show you. So you know how, like a tooth ends up. I'm trying to draw it 3D, and when you get to carving out and you're filing, you end up with this extra little hook there in the front. On a normal tooth, it would look like something like I don't know. I'm not bucking Billy Ray, but the guy was filing this thing. He didn't touch the tooth at all. He was just running a file through here. It was flipping hilarious because he got that part sharp. Like he got it really sharp. So, and I feel like I've watched a billion sharpening videos on YouTube to the point that I don't even want to see them anymore. And when I seen his, I was like, finally, somebody did it a different way, and it's something cool. So, was really stoked on his video. He, I think it was Lee Connell or something like that. But yeah, he was definitely getting the gullet. He got the gullet and was getting it and going and gone. So I thought it was sick. Um, After that, what did I see? Because I saw some funny stuff on Facebook. That's what I finally, when I got on there, I'm like, this sucks. And then as I was getting off, I was like, this sucks. But in a little bit in the middle, I was like, this is cool. This is funny. So, what did I see? Oh, and then the next video was what kind of tree is this? And legit in the comment section, 2 out of every 10 tree guys was getting it right. Use a bigger file bag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do. It's just that was funny. It was he was only filing that little extra hook that you end up getting that's left over when you file a tooth down quite a ways. But I just thought it was hilarious. But you have to see it to understand it. He was using like a 1/4 inch file to file the front, like bottom hook on the actual link, and he had it pretty sharp. So yeah, it was an aspen was what the tree was, and I don't even have those. Those are definitely not a local tree for me. And instantly, I knew what it was, and I've never even cut one before. So um, I thought it was quite funny that 8 out of 10 people got it wrong all the way through. There was 100 something comments, and just blew my mind. Some of the things people like poplar and blah 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 blah, and it just I think most of them it was birch and white birch and then paper birch and then poplar and sycamore, and the only guy that got it right but didn't was the guy that said a fallen tree, because they're like, does anybody know what this is? And he's like, yeah, it's a fallen tree. But yes, that's the dad sense of humor coming out in me. I also seen on Facebook like everyone's like taking out their 401, they're cashing out their 401ks for some reason. A lot of people like my dad's age and stuff, and they're like, do it before the election. I don't know. That's one of the things I don't know nothing about. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, what? Okay. Um, then I seen again probably one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen. There's a logger. He only has one arm, and he's still logging massive timber, and he's amazing. He's amazing. He deserves to be on every channel. I just want to watch him do work. It is the most inspiring thing I've ever seen. He is not downsized. He is not modified. He uses his shoulder and one arm. Has nothing over here, and still using a big saw. Still like banging out his face cuts like I don't know. The dude is beyond inspiring to me, and it makes me realize like I don't care what's wrong. That dude, do you think when he went to the doctor and they amputated his arm when he woke up, do you think they were like, hey, you can still go cut down massive timber and use a big chainsaw? No, they told him right there, you can't no more. It's over. And he said, yeah, well, here, hold my axe. I gotta fire this chainsaw up. He's amazing. So if you haven't seen him, you will. If you watch tree work, you will see him eventually. And shout out to that guy. I don't know who he is, but dude, you are beyond inspiring. So 5800 pro grade. Oh, you guys want to talk? You guys. Um. Oh my. I seen him. Okay, the funny thing that I seen a mower video where a guy said, this guy showed up to this lawn service and he's like, yeah, I have a ton of experience. I've been doing lawns with a bunch of other lawn services. He named them off. It was his first day. They put him on a grade like this on a zero turn, and so he started to go down the grade at a bit of an angle because sometimes they feel like they'll roll, and the angle was so steep that it started to pull him forward, so his instinct is to push forward on the handles. And a zero zero turn, you just take off like a bullet, and the guy goes, "No, no, what are you doing?" And he just takes it straight into the lake, like bam. So I thought that was pretty cool. And if anyone else wants to try to do that, if you would send me the footage, I would like that. So I thought it was pretty funny. Um, yeah, Chris, it blows my mind. That guy's the man. And I'm sure he's not the only one out there. Um, Men like that inspire the piss out of me. So I just shout out to every man that gets up and seems to still get it done despite whatever personal, physical disabilities that you have. So that's it for Facebook. Now, do you guys want to go into everything else that I seen on YouTube, or do you want to go? Okay, let's do this. You want to do metal and wood now, or you want to get a little clowny at the end? We can do it either way. We can start the circus right now, or we can save the circus to the end. I don't do the face cuts. Face what? don't do the face cracks. The farmer. My neighbor has only one leg, and he's in a wheelchair, and he goes outside and push mows his yard. He's the man. I wake up sometimes and I'm like all whiny and I'm like sore, and I look over and he's like outside push mowing his damn yard in his wheelchair, and he just uses his other single leg to get around too. And he's amazing. Harmless farmer, huh? Well, let's do this. I'll go through the rest of the stuff I've seen this week, and then we'll get into, because if I save it to the end, maybe Steve will be my friend. Like maybe he'll get bored of watching, and then he won't watch the end, and he won't see nothing. So my goal is to be friends with Steve long term. Like we're gonna be buddies. So just figured I'd let you guys in on the whole deal, like the whole plot. Tree mugs. So I've had people ask me about Educated Climber. What happened to the Educated Climber? I believe that, yeah, Educated Climber. He changed the name because he just kind of wanted to get away from the teaching aspect of it, and he said it wasn't. He just put a video out, and he says he wasn't calling himself an educated climber. His platform was more like a resource for climbers that were looking to learn from the internet, because there wasn't, like, some of the guys that were teaching and guys that decided that they wanted to show things were the guys that probably shouldn't be showing things. So uh, he ended up changing the name of the channel to Tree Mugs. So if any of you, if that caught anybody off guard, that's why he just put the video out talking about it. The video was called "Don't Learn to Do Tree Work on YouTube." Um, he just basically thought, like, he watched and seen a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and he's like, well, might as well learn it from me. Um, I think certain people have a mind for things. I think anyone can parrot stuff. I think anyone can parrot something. Watch someone else's video and do a similar video. But those people that kind of break a little bit of ground or do it for the first time, there's a rare kind of group of them. I don't know if I'm one of those people. I think a lot of times I'm a guy that I learn a little bit from here or there, and like a collage of people end up giving me an idea, and then I show it. So yeah, he's just tree mugs now. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, and he said he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't like that. He thinks that you should not learn to do tree work on YouTube, and I think I agree. I think you can learn nuances and techniques from YouTube, but a to learn any of the true basics or get good, it's in field. Like you need to be there doing it. You need to have someone showing you. You need to have a resource there as a person that can be a mentor, to an extent, unless you have the ability and the time to build your own experience doing it. So, like, I think he's just at a crossroads, it seems, making content. And he didn't say this, but I feel like the insane amount of oversaturation on the internet of people who want to teach, like Strider, the industry plant. That's what I'm gonna start calling that dude. He's an industry plant, and I think people like that have just oversaturated things, and where he was probably a resource for a lot of people, he no longer like is. Um, but I think that dude has helped and made so many tree guys better. So shout out to Patrick. I think he's the man. I don't think he should stop. I think he should just do what he likes. I think if you put out a video, make sure you like it. If you don't put it out. This is definitely not worth it. During our live feed here, I received 2 super chats that have paid me more than double what I make a month on YouTube. And I feel like I put out a pretty consistent amount of content. We do a weekly 2 hour live feed, and I put out videos throughout the week. I put out shorts throughout the week. I have over 10,000 subscribers, and I make $35 a month. So, you know, I get it. And I think you just have to do what you like, because if you're not doing what you like, this becomes very demoralizing, and it sucks sometimes. So, shout out to Patrick. He's the man. I think he should just do whatever it is he wants to do, and I'm gonna back him. So, whichever direction he takes his channel, I'm down. I like the guy. I think he's a good human. I think he's an all-around pretty good person. So, yeah, check out Tree Mugs if you haven't already. Well, I'm glad you agree, Chris. Okay. So it says demo really big. And that's above Game of Trees. We're having fun. Have you noticed he kind of started to raise his eyebrows and maybe smile a little bit when he says we're having fun? I think we may have got through to him. I told you guys, we are legit changing YouTube one live stream at a time. And every week, something we did had an effect. So I'd say this week, we made, I'm just going to say it. We made him start to smile. Like, he said every week there's 20 shorts on my phone where it's like Game of Trees, we're having fun, and he would never look like he was having fun. He looked like he was in misery. Actually, it looked like he was hating life at times, and now he's starting to realize that maybe if you're saying you're having fun, you should look like you're maybe having fun. So he's starting to like grin and stuff, but man, he nicked his rope. And since he nicked his rope, he must have got some views on that video, because he's cut 15 ropes since then and videoed all of them. And I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing? I'm just a clown with a soul. Me too. Yeah, we're still clowns with saws. We're just not part of the circus yet, but we're going to. Ground Fighter, you can be friends with me and Steve too. Like, we can have like a three-way friendship. That sounded so sus, but yeah, we can do that, and we can. I don't know. I was about to talk about the full wrap handles, and that would have got weird. So he cut his rope. He nicked his rope, and he's the guy. No Diddy, exactly, 100%. That's what I meant to say. So he's the guy that's like, be safe, tie in twice, do this, do that, do that. He's one of them guys that says you gotta abide by all the rules, but on occasions will say that it's okay for him to break rules. So I don't know. I think he's an all right dude, probably deep down. I think he's probably a pretty good human, but he's just not my type of guy. I think he's the type of guy that wouldn't sit there and like talk with you and have a discussion unless you were being very intellect and not being animated at all. Like, if you called him out for a second, I think it would shut him down, and he would like not say anything to you, but would talk trash about you afterwards or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but he's different. He was up in the tree. Apparently, he didn't have his lanyard on, and he was cutting. Someone call the cops. Alert the police, because I think that's like the first rule. They're like, have two tie-in points. So he's for some reason reached. We're back to the reach around, but he reached around and hit his base anchor. So he basically, that's when he was one of the people I was talking about that was talking about you can't use a base anchor, you shouldn't, this is the dangerousness. Well, I showed you a way for that to not be a danger anymore. So I don't want to talk about that no more. You don't have to. the the risk of cutting your rope in the back can be eliminated by putting a knot and hooking the strap on. So, and strap on end up in it. What the hell? This is going to be the most suspect live ever. And he, after he nicked his rope, he's like, "Yeah, you guys." He didn't really talk about it in the video. You could tell. He didn't really want to, but then he realized, oh, that kind of got some views. Now um, I need to cut my rope a bunch of times. That gets views. So he like put a 5 pound dumbbell or something. I don't know, kettlebell or something. I don't even know what those things are. I don't work out, especially with those. But he put one on rope, and then I guess he thought he could just smack it with his handsaw and it would break, and that didn't happen. So he smacked it again. He's like, oh. So then he takes like a samurai swipe at it, where he's like, yeah, and it cuts. Okay, yeah, I would have thought that too. So, and then he's like, oh, I got more kettlebells or dumbbells. And so he went and got more dumbbells and tied more dumbbells to it, and then he was like smacked it again with his saw, and he's like, oh, that didn't work. And he smacked it again, and he was like, oh, it didn't work. And he's like, yeah, and he did the full swipe again, and it cut the. If it cut it with one, it's gonna cut it when you got like 20 of them on there too, even easier. Now it's even under more tension. So I don't really know what the videos meant, and then I thought that was like if there was like 3 of those, and then I thought it was over, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna move on to something else. And then like I scrolled up, and there's another new video where now he cut the section of his rope out that he nicked, and he's bringing it to TCI Expo for everybody that wants to see it. And I'll be straight with you guys. I would never think of myself as cool enough that someone would want to see something that silly. Like, I made a mistake, and I'm so cool that you guys need to see. Whoa. You guys need to see this and bring it. So, haystacks. Oh my. Holy smokes, man. So, thank you so much. I'm trying to read the comment. Oh, from Scotland. Wow. Wow, dude. I bet you've worked in some of the most amazing looking places. That's the part, like, my stuff it's simple hillbilly places, like out in the country. I couldn't imagine being at, like, castles and places where people have massive gardens, and that's so awesome. Do you have tree content? Do you make any videos, Haystacks? Because if you do, I want to watch them. But hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. you guys are you guys are amazing. Ah, that's unreal. I appreciate that. This this is cool. Thank you. So for all you guys that are close to the expo and could possibly go to the expo, you should get there and go look at that rope. I don't know why, but he's bringing it. He's also bringing 900 axes for you guys to buy. Um, he even like took the axe handle off, like took the head off the axe and put a different handle on so he could put his name on it. And he's also bringing the original handle, which is still new, so I don't know why he just didn't put that on there. but I think it's more about his name being on it, and that makes it worth a lot of money. Where he puts Game of Trees on it. Uh, I I don't know. Like I don't I'm not I don't understand the the product sales. It's the most instinctive thing for any YouTuber. The second that they get a little bit of acknowledgement, they're instantly selling you something. Um, and I get that. And the only reason I've ever sold like shirts, I never sold shirts, but I had a lot of people that would had asked me over the years if I ever had merch, and I didn't. And then they asked like, "Well, would you get some?" And then the shirt company reached out to me. They's like, "We'll do some stickers for you and shirts, and you don't have to do nothing. We'll make them, and we'll send you your money." And I was like, "Whoa, this seems way too good to be true." And it turns out it was, and they took my money. But I don't understand the you guys. You guys, like, if you can support the people, I like this. This is mind blowing. I don't know if I've ever had a live feed where I've had near this many donations. I've had a couple crazy ones, but I think this may be the most lucrative as far as um, super chats. It's unreal and it's amazing. You guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. And if I can ever haystack, if I can ever be a resource or help you out, dude, I'm here. I'm here. I'm open arms. I'm anybody who follows me. I try my best to make myself as a resource. And if I can help in any way, I definitely want to. So I don't have the confidence. Yeah, well, dude, I think you should. I think even if you're not the the central character, maybe the central character to your content would be your area, the places that you're at. Maybe make that the central character of it, and instead of it being so where you gotta like stand in front of the camera and talk, show the location, show the maybe the work, and try it out. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to those people that just become viral. Some people have something special in them, and you don't know it if you don't try. And as much as I probably whine about it being oversaturated, I think everybody should try. I do, and you know, give it a shot. See how it works for you, and it may change your life, or it'll change your life in some way. I've met some of the best people that I think some of the downright best humans that I know to this day. That top 20 people, a lot of people on here make that list. And maybe I'm not around them enough to see them do things that are wrong or do wrong to people, and I only see the good, but like I'm not around a lot of people that I'm not around people much at all, and they can show me somewhere along the way that they're a bit skeezy, a bit dirty, a bit ruthless, and they just don't care. I think society makes it okay for you to be incredibly selfish and self-centered these days, and it's okay, and it's actually normal. So, when I run into somebody who's not that way, it's such a breath of fresh air. So, oh, ground pounder, Jesus Christ, you guys, I'm gonna retire after this one. This is my 401k. This is as close as I'll ever get to one. This live feed right here. You guys are gangsters. Holy smokes, man. I don't know what to say. A sad Beck Memarov? Tell me what I can do then. A sad deck. A sad Beck. I called you a sad deck. That's weird. That's us again. No diddy. Chuck Norris once gave a horse an uppercut. Yeah. Yes. See, that's the kind of comments that deserve to be pinned. Hang on. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Gerald, that was good shit. We need more of those. Oh, I should. I should go buy a Noker, huh? You guys are crazy. I can't afford them. I could afford to buy one from the actual factory, but if I like, we gotta remember Steve, uh, like quadruples his profit, so I couldn't get one from him. We're gonna be friends, damn it, Steve. Just be my friend. Come on my live feed and talk and be like a regular character. That's gonna be the end game. You guys are like every week. Steve's gonna be on here. He's gonna be selling you guys saws, and it's just gonna be fun. It's just gonna be fun. You got plenty of them. Well, you bless us with one each week at least. At least one a week. That's hilarious. So next YouTube channel. August ended up putting out a few videos. One and done. Then he put out another video called Tall Tree Removal from Damien's perspective. And he put out a video of a Milwaukee battery powered mower. Uh, I think I watched the one and done. It was a single hookup where they hooked up to like a spruce tree or something. I couldn't really tell. And pulled it, the whole tree, put it in front of the chipper. They even split the logs into fours. You know how they used to do those fences, the crisscross fences? They kind of cut those out of it, and then they chipped them up because they ended up bringing the smaller chipper. But yeah, it just seems very slowish with the content coming from August. Maybe he's just having a break. I know he had the kid and everything. So oh, and they were testing out a new product for you to buy. Get your wallet ready. Yeah, they took the backbone, the cross backbone kind of thing. I don't know who originally made that, but they basically made that. But no, they basically made that. Let's just be real. Um, basically did what Steve did. Steve went and seen West Coast Saws has been very their 3 point dogs have went over really really good. So he's like, okay, I want those. So he said, I designed these dogs for the chainsaw. You know, you didn't. You took someone else's idea, but that's okay. Apparently, that's okay in the industry because it happens a lot. But yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, Chris. Oh man, you guys are crazy. How do you have so many damn Chuck Norris jokes? Uh, so yeah, check out August's channel. I'm sure if you watch tree stuff, you're watching his channel already. Um, there's another channel. I will not say the name unless I'm being absolutely positive because I think certain people don't deal with criticism very good. So I don't want to say the name of the channel. I just want to say that like last week I discussed a YouTube channel where a guy basically said he's more talented and a better tree climber than everyone else, especially the people that do the really tall trees on the East Coast. He is in, I believe, the heartland of America, like the center. Um, the trees are not all that big. They are widespread, more widespread. But basically, he basically just took a dump on everybody else who does like tree work. And that's why I razzed this guy originally. I could see that's in his character. He thinks that legitimately. But he's the type of guy that even though he thinks he's better than you and you're not like on his level of a human, he has no problem taking your ideas and making them his own. And that just that throws up a red flag to me and aggravates me. So he made it onto my list, and I I said a few things about him at one point, and he got really butthurt, and so I said I won't ever say nothing no more unless it's positive. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. So he said in a video just recently that he made it clear that the trees he does that are only 60 foot tall are 10 times harder than the 200-foot pines that guys are doing on the East Coast and redwoods. He says those trees are way easier. He could do that all day long. It wouldn't be nothing to him. And he says that he discusses this in his upcoming video, but he has yet to post it. That was over a week ago. This guy posts he was posting like 6 videos a week. He ain't posted it. We talked about it. I called it out. I said, be on the lookout. This video's coming out. And he says he's gonna, you know, if it's facts, it's facts. If you're the man and you're the best, put it out. Stand on business and be the man. But I think he was feeling cocky that day. And now I think he's scared to put it out. And it's hard to respect that. You said you were going to do it. No, ground pounder. It's let's see. There's one of these. Okay, one of these on my list has a star next to it. I'm gonna show you real quick. And if you figure it, if you catch it, cool. If you don't, you missed out on your opportunity to catch and understand who I'm saying. So, yeah. If frogs have wings, it wouldn't burn. Yeah. But I'm just curious, like, what's going on? Post a video. I want to see you do what you say you were going to do and state facts. But I think that was just a bunch of barking. And when it come time to really do it, he's not doing it. Instead of putting that video out, which he said was the next video, he said it. I haven't put it out yet, but it's coming. Instead of putting that out, he has put out a video where he pulls over a little maple tree that's in a wide open area. Somehow make a whole video out of that. And then he made a whole video out of cutting 2 bottom limbs on a pecan tree. So just put the video out where you like start snapping and popping, off at the mouth and all this stuff you said you was going to do. I'm curious. I just want to see it. I don't think you're going to do it. I don't think you're that brave. And I may just be stirring the pot, but I find that to be fine. So I'm sorry if that's the case. Ground Pounder ate a bunch of burgers on live. So I seen that this week. Also, what's up, Brandon? How are you, brother? Guilty. Oh no, Tree Climber Harry put out a video of a big free climb that he did on this massive tree. Then he put out a video where they had to move a bunch of big. Why is everything so sus? Big wood, and by hand. It just keeps getting worse. I don't know. Yeah, and that's always rough when you gotta do that, especially moving that stuff manually when you don't get a chance to get a machine and stuff to it. It gets a little rough. Brandon put out a couple videos, make them work easy on the ground, guys. all good videos. Um, Definitely check his channel out. He's right here. Brandon Rusty Tree Care puts out really good tree content. I believe was the video of the week last week. I can't remember, but yeah, some gnarly rigging that I watched him do. Guilty of treason put out a video that was almost 3 hours long. Called it the most challenging tree job he has had that he's had yet since he started his business. There was a lot of good rigging in it. It turns out there's a documentary being made by some gentlemen, I think from across the pond, from me, and that's gonna be interesting to see. I can't wait to see that. I kind of curious who ends up making, it into GP made the news. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm telling you, GP is full. Let's just say that. So I swear it's every like I feel like your thumbnail is always that. That's what it shows on my phone, dude. It's so funny every time. I laugh every single time. I'm like, and I'll be scrolling. So yeah, I'm curious about the documentary. I want to see the documentary. It's on the tree industry. It shows influencers. It's gonna have a bunch of stuff in it, I think, but just basically the tree industry, a, a documentary on it. So I think they were videoing Jake for it. I think from what they were saying, he falls in the influencer part of it, which he is the influencer when it comes to tree work, I believe, especially with the subscriber count. But also Randy was in the video, which is I'm waiting for. I will order from Snappy Supply if it was real, and guilty of Randy. I'm ready to subscribe right now. So Randy should start a channel. Peter Shea put out some good videos. Also did the uprooted live oak on a house. It was like a music video edited, real good. Check out Peter's channel. Veterans Tree Service put out a video called "One Wrong Move on This Tree Job and You're Dead." I believe his name's Tib. Tib is he's a character. I think that's why his channel is kind of blown up. He actually shot me a comment, and what was he? Oh, yeah, he asked me about Corey Human, the YouTube channel Human. Tim seems like the guy, maybe the type of guy who would have a competitiveness to him. So like he checks what people's subscriber counts are, and he's checking to see is he still posting videos? Is where am I at on the tier list? And I just find that to be, and maybe he's not. Maybe that's just the impression. Like maybe that's a narrative I'm painting. So I can't say that that's true. That's just how sometimes that's my impression of him. And he said that the channel's not there no more. It's gone, and it's still there. I last video was 11 months ago, which I think I've seen content much more recent than that. I think Corey may have moved over to Instagram, and he may post a little more on there as Nymu, or Nymu. That's Nymuh. But Corey Human is the name of the channel. Was the biggest YouTube channel for tree work that there was at one point. So he's had a bit of a fall off, but even if you type in human, the channel won't pull up. It's been shadow banned. So you have to put his name in and human for you to be able to find it. So he's ruffled enough feathers on YouTube that he's basically like been blacklisted, and he's very, very hard to find his channel if you're not already a subscriber, which makes me be like, "What's up, Tim? You subscribe to his channel?" He asked me about him. You should. Well, maybe he didn't get any notifications on him, so he thought the channel was gone. Okay, so yeah, I can't call him out. Um, you can't ask people to subscribe and then not subscribe. So, uh, yeah, that channel's still there. But he put out that video, and Tuaz, what's up? Atanas? Yeah, I have some questions about rigging and climb line. I will ask away. So, the thing with veterans, he was doing a tree. How was that? It's like uprooted into there. That's basically the way it looked. So he had a tree that uprooted and landed into a maple. Or it broke off. It's laying in the maple. So he goes up in it, and while he's up there, he finds the chance to call out Jeff Schroeder, which I absolutely back and think is funny. I don't think it's funny that Jeff had an accident, but I just think it's funny to razz a little bit. I found it to be funny. He says that he's using a bigger size rope to pull this tree over because he doesn't want to make the rookie mistakes that Jeff made. The reason that's funny is because Jeff is far from a rookie. So sometimes it's hard to maybe catch Tim's sense of humor because he's very dry, but I got a bit of a kick out of it. FYI, Tim, the rope that you were looking at and using is a 5/8 all gear Husky bull rope, and I just cut one right in half. So that's the reason I know. For a tree removal, how do you generally get climb line in the highest point along with the rigging point? Well, you can set all that stuff from the ground with a throw ball, but you know, it's just being good at getting that throw ball up there. You have a weighted ball on a string. The string is like this kind of string. That's basically what this is throw ball string that I used for a little demonstration demo thing I got over here. But you have a weighted ball, you throw it up there, it goes over a limb, comes back down, you tie your rope, you take the ball off, you tie your rope to the string, then you pull your rope up. Now you have a rope set in the tree. You could do that same thing with rigging. You could take that same throw ball, throw it up over, but if you have a climb line set up, you can then climb up safely, set your rigging by hand. Or you could set it from the ground by same thing, throwing the throw ball up through the limb, then pulling the rigging. Like you could take a rigging rope, put a ring on the end of it, put a block on the end of it, and the way you would do that, same way with the climb line, throw a throw ball up, pull the rope up through, then tie a pulley onto the end of the rope, put a rope into the pulley. Now pull that pulley back up with the rope set in it, and then anchor it off. Now you have a false crotch up in the tree and you can rig from it. Or you can just go natural crotch. So I think throw ball done is the ticket for you right now. Getting a throw ball, getting good at throwing the throw ball. There are different ways of doing that. I have a slingshot over there, a big slingshot on a pole, called a big shot, or you can make a gun with PVC pipe, like this thing here, that shoots the throw ball. This is like an old, oh shoot. I don't even know if I can get that out of there. It's so big and bulky. This was one that I was gonna make until I come to the realization that, oh my god, that you don't need all this. So, look at this. Look how big that chamber is. So I had all of this. I had a handle built on. I thought you needed all this for your air gun. And what you would do, you get a chamber. You would put a high pressure valve stem in here, and you would fill it with air, and then have a ball valve that you pull the ball valve and it shoots it. I realized you don't need all this. Really, all you need is a straight chamber like this for the barrel, and then a ball valve here, and then another chamber at the end to hold the air. This shoots it when you hit the ball valve. So I literally made mine as I walked through the hardware store and pieced everything together, Ton. So, you ever manually advance the line? You can. You can if you get up there and, like, a lot of times you're not going to hit that absolute perfect spot. So, what you would do is, like, using this as a demonstration. If I threw the throw ball up and I hit, like, this crotch, I would settle with that. I would climb my way all the way up. I would get in there. I would lanyard up above. That way, if I was to slip, my lanyard catches in the crotch, not here. I would get up above the crotch where I'm for sure secured. I would undo my tie-in point, and then I would hook maybe a throw ball to the end of it and throw it up to the next branch. Move up, put my lanyard into the next crotch, advance it to the next one. So you can do all that. Definitely, it works very, very easy. Yeah, Billy, potato gun. That was the thing originally. Is I thought when I first built mine, I was told that you could do that, but you needed hairspray or you needed CO2, and I was like, I can't do that. I'll buy a slingshot first because I'm not about to spend the money on CO2 cartridges every time. I'm not about to spend the money on hairspray every time that I need to shoot a throw ball up in there. So when I come to the realization that a air powered one was just as good and worked, and that's free every time. So a bike pump with a gauge, and after you get your potato gun or your throw ball gun made, I heard that a butterfly valve is a little better of a valve to use, and a ball valve is a little less. Like you'll get more of an impactful shot with a butterfly because it opens like this when a ball valve opens like this. So it lets a little air out a little instead of how a butterfly one sits and it lets it out right in the middle of the chamber. This one lets it out off to the side a little bit. So different valves work a little better, but yeah, both in that same range. So what PSI range would you use? See, you would okay, that's what I was going to discuss. I would build my gun, and I actually, my air chamber on mine used to be much bigger, but I started to cut it down, which allowed to make a more compressed air in a smaller chamber. I could get the PSI higher quicker in a smaller chamber, and I got my gun dialed in to the point that I must be lucky, but mine was for every pound of air that I put into it, it shot a foot. So 20 pounds of air, I got 20 feet. So the chamber, yeah, and I dialed my chamber down some too. It was too long originally because it almost took away from the shot because it was too long. It was too much friction of it coming out for it to work. Also, you can either bang it on the ground to pack it down in there, or I have a ramrod that's like actually a walking stick, a blind man's walking stick. I don't know where I got it from. I promise I didn't steal it from a blind man, but I have one. That's what I use. And then a little foot bike pump that has a gauge on it, and that's how I get it done. But I think $12 is what I spent to make my air gun, my throwball air gun, and a little tip, Chris P. I hope that answered the question. Um, a little tip: when you're building it, the chain or the barrel is okay to be regular PVC, but I would go with a high pressured PVC for the air chamber. Remember that. That's a mistake that I made. My air gun doesn't have high pressured PVC for the air chamber, which is a bit sketchy. So I wrapped mine in a bunch of duct tape. That way, if it was to ever blow up, hopefully the duct tape would hold the shards from, blowing up my face. But yeah, it's something to look out for. You want high pressured PVC for the chamber or metal. Um, I don't know about metal. I would just go with PVC. But I know that other ones are made of metal. PVC will blow at 3K. Yeah, I'm not even trying to test it, brother. I don't know. I hope mine doesn't ever blow up on me, but sometimes gnarly stuff happens. But okay, Tim ended up doing this. He ended up taking out like the two back stems here, and then his idea was he was going to pull this tree this way. I don't really understand what he meant and how he thought he was going to pull the tree this way when this thing is working like a stopper. But that's what his plan was originally. He got down, and luckily his plan ended up changing, and he was able to fall the single stem, which was mainly holding it, out of this one, and it went over. They had some pulling power. Then he decided to use that rope to try to break a one of the limbs out, and he basically was pulling on it in the fashion that it was the absolute strongest. So yeah, if you have to go watch the video, maybe some of the stuff I'm saying doesn't totally translate, but the video was called "One Wrong Move on This Tree Job and You're Dead." Um, Also, Tim seems to, as he was talking about how he would hook this up. You can tell he works with pine trees nonstop because his brain thinks you have to choose between the two. Like, which one am I going to tie to pull the tree over? He's like, I think this one because it's the most central and the main, and it's the bigger one. When I have widespread trees like that, I wrap. I try to get it compressed, get all them stems together, wrap around multiple ones, and the potential for one breaking out or having a failure of one direction or the other is much less, especially when you combine them and keep them and make them as one. So, especially if he was trying to follow that tree whole, I think that's the route he should have went. Use mostly canopy anchor for true. Um, yeah, yeah, I use base anchor a lot. There are ways of using. I mean, I use a base anchor, and I just showed the technique at the beginning of the video. So if you get time, you may want to run the video back. I show a technique on how to use a base anchor, go up, and after I get up there, I will loosen a little slack. I will tie a alpine butterfly or a circus knot, and then I'll take a strap and hook it up and then clip it on. Now, with that terminal knot, I am now anchored at that point. So if I was to accidentally hit my base anchor and cut it at some point, or something snags it, it's not what I'm anchored to. It's a backup. And then as I would need, I would just move that strap down as I go on the removal. So I use base anchor to do removals often, and I think a lot of people just have never seen that done. I think most climbers think that's not a possibility. But yeah, sometimes I just don't want to bug the guy on the ground. Hey, will you untie my base anchor? I'll just move it down myself. So I think it was it for veterans. I told you to check out Brandon's channel. Another channel that I want to talk about is Ethan Caceres. Ethan's starting a channel. I kind of think I like Ethan. I don't. You guys have to check him out. I have to share one of his videos here coming up, but check his channel out. That's Ethan. It's Ethan. Caceres is Caceras, and I subscribe to another channel, but I don't know if I want to do a bunch of promoting yet. I'm going to watch him for a week, and then I'll let you know. So, is to access the tree easier, right? 100%. Yeah, it's 10 times easier to just get through one main crotch and then be able to access, as opposed to trying to isolate a singular limb and get the rope to come over and come right back down. Because what happens a lot of times is you throw the throw ball up over, it goes through, and then if you was to try to send a canopy anchor up, it would catch something and it would be wrapped around multiple stems and be a headache. And it's sometimes at times it is almost impossible to isolate a singular stem and get that to work. So I just feel like instead of always trying to do that, I go base anchor. And then I started to wonder one day, can I use this base anchor and continue to use it on removals? Actually, I think what did it is I seen somebody say you can't use a base anchor to do a removal, and I'm a stubborn person, and instantly my brain was like, yes, you can. So, yeah, I hope that helped, hon. I hope it helped. So, let's get into it. Metal and wood. I am 2 hours already. I gotta run through this. All right, check out West Coast Saws. I'm not big into the logging, and I don't. It's hard for me to be entertained by it a lot of times. But man, those guys, great content. So Gordy and them, check out that channel. They make a bunch of uh, high performance parts and like modifications that you can do to your chainsaws. They sell a lot of them parts, the bark box, and a bunch of other things. So check out West Coast Saws. But we're getting turtly right now. Our favorite YouTube channel and my soon to be friend, Metal and Wood. The first thing I have here with him is oh yeah, what the hell, Steve? Apparently, Steve was in Missouri. Don't come to Missouri no more unless you're coming to hang out. So, Steve came to Missouri. Yeah, don't come back unless you're coming to hang out with me. So, that's just all I got to say about that. He was looking at knives. We have a lot of stores and stuff in Missouri. Pocket knives, any kind of knives, a big deal, you know. So he stopped in to look at this like depot kind of display place where they sell any and every kind of knife out there. Um, the funny part is he stopped, but he says the prices are way too much for him. Um, my instinct tells me that Steve will soon be selling knives. I could be wrong, but keep your eyes out for the knife sales that are going to start. He said he was looking for the Buck Model 124. Okay. He said it wasn't there. Steve thinks that purple is only for pimps. I don't know. Anytime he sees purple, he's like, you could be a pimp in East St. Louis with that. And I don't know, I don't know what that's all about, but I don't know. It's kind of funny, I guess. So anything purple is only for pimps. Yeah, yeah, time. Yep, yes, I am. So, uh, unless you want to be a pimp, don't buy anything purple. He may have filmed himself committing a crime. I don't think most people caught it, but he recorded himself breaking into someone's trailer and taking back his tools. He said that the guy hadn't returned any of his phone calls in over a year, but he also said that he couldn't take his tools home when he was supposed to. So it's not that guy's fault that you didn't take your tools home when you were supposed to, and that you haven't been able to make it up to get them. But he's mad because the guy won't answer his phone calls, and he hasn't returned a phone call in a whole year. Now, I need to let you know, in Jawa, which is his right hand man and, you know, his partner, this was the original in Jawa. Oh, really? That's cool, son. Hey, we have to get together sometime, man. You mean purple isn't? I think it actually is only for pimps. That's just what Steve wouldn't lie. I don't think he'd give any misinformation either. Um, but I think he may have filmed himself committing a crime. He broke into this guy's trailer and took his tools out, and the title of the video said, "No return phone calls for over 1 year. Friendship is over," or something. End of a friendship. His titles are always so fucking harebrained that I can't ever make sense of them. So, yeah, he broke into this guy's trailer. He took his like 90-year-old dad with him as an accomplice, and then made sure he got his dad on camera so dad can go to jail with him. The guy who he wanted to go, he said the relationship was over, which is funny. You call a friendship a relationship? That's sus. But this is the same guy that sits with another man in a dark shed and talks about reach arounds and stuff. So it is what it is. But uh, I will talk to you only in a lit room, Steve. So, but we're I still want to be friends. So I'm trying to get one of them nokers. Um, yeah, Steve made sure he got his dad as an accomplice. The guy was Kevin, the Texas welder. Anybody that's followed Steve will remember Kevin. He had this really nice house he was building and stuff. But Kevin was supposed to be the original in Jawa. And when everybody was starting the cult and this and that, Kevin was the guy that had Steve's back. And now Kevin, for some reason, don't want anything to do with Steve, which I find to be very, very weird. Unless maybe there's something wrong with Steve. I doubt there's anything wrong with Steve. But only thing I know that's wrong with him is that he hasn't came on our live feed yet and graced us with his presence, which he will do. We just gotta slowly beat him down and make him. Um, some knucklehead in Kansas bought a Pro Mag 660. Um, Steve must have like taught him how to start a chainsaw. There's a lot of dads that need to do a better job teaching their sons and stuff, because like Steve is teaching a lot of other men around the world how to start a chainsaw, and you should not use your crotch to start the thing every time. Like I'm not talking about inner thigh, I'm talking deep crotch. This young man from Kansas used his crotch to start the saw. I don't like that. I think it's weird. He did not show his face, which I think is funny. Um, he says that there'll be many more videos to come. Um, would you please show your face so we know who to make fun of? He left the brake on and burnt the clutch up while he was doing it, to the point that even Steve commented, "Take the brake off. You're gonna burn the clutch up." So kind of funny, but you know, that's crazy. Um, yeah, okay. One of okay. Oh yeah, and the guy from Kansas um definitely learned how to start it from Steve, because he starts it, lets it run for 2 seconds, shuts it off, and restarts it. There's a mass obsession with starting and shutting a chainsaw off. That does not show that that chainsaw performs. What shows that that chainsaw performs is cutting wood. So I think some of these videos should involve it cutting wood sometimes. But when me and Steve become friends, I'll fix all that. He'll start putting out real videos. Um, we're just not there yet. One of Steve's commenters, his subscribers, told him that his dad looks only 5 years young. Oh, or he says your dad looks about 5 years older than you, which is funny. Because I think Steve's dad's like 100 and Steve's like 60 or 70 or something. I don't know, but he is right. Dad looks. I think Dad looks much healthier than Steve. Um, Steve lets his dad know what he calls a full wrap handle, which is really weird. I don't know why. He's like, "Yeah, this has got a full wrap handle, Dad. I call it reach around." And I don't know why you call it a reach around. I think you should stop doing that. Um, just, I'm trying to fix the things that he does that's weird. because after we're friends, all this stuff I get secondhand embarrassment from. I'm guilty by association. So if you could please fix these weird things that you do, Steve, before we become friends, I would really appreciate it because I don't want to get secondhand embarrassment. So that's where we're at right now. Don't do some of this weird stuff. Um, I'd appreciate it. What else? Yeah, he asked his dad about building highways. Apparently, his dad used to work for the highway department and built a lot of the highways that go through Missouri, St. Louis, and stuff, which is kind of cool. Um, After he asked his dad about building highways, he cut him off instantly and started talking clown saws, which is so rude. I don't understand that. I think you should show your dad a little more respect. That's kind of sus and like just weird behavior. Um, he Steve starts 1.5 million chainsaws, and because of that, he's thrown his right shoulder out. His shoulder is bad. Do better, yeah. That ergonomic handle goes inside him so much better. Yeah, he started 1.5 million chainsaws this year, and he threw his shoulder out. Um, I need everybody to know: don't tell him that he can't put 14 clown saws on his roof and strap him down because he'll do it. He did it. He had 14 clown saws strapped to the roof of his truck, and that's just what he does. You guys don't tell him that he can't do something because he's going to do it. I thought everybody would have picked up on that by now. Um, he talks about his viral video that he's got where he stupidly puts straight gasoline into the carburetor to prime the line. I would like to know why Steve no longer does that. And I would bet and almost bank on he doesn't do that anymore because the feller in Jawa who does a lot of his saw fixing and modifications in Jawa has a bit of a brain to him and knows that that's not smart and shouldn't be done. I have yet to see Steve put any straight gasoline in any chainsaws, but since his viral video, but yeah, he says that you idiots need to watch him and learn from him, and yeah, saves his shoulders. So if he, I don't know why his shoulders thrown out now because I thought that straight gas fixed everything. By the way, don't do that. Anybody else, don't use straight gas. It will burn too hot. There's a reason you're supposed to use mix, and you will mess your chainsaw up. So viral does not mean correct or right. Things that are wrong, morally unethical, and downright stupid often become viral. Just because it was viral does not mean it's correct. Isn't it 50 to 1 mix? Actually, depending on who you're asking, I agree with 50 to 1. I mix on the rich side of 50 to 1. So I would use a gallon of mix, a gallon mix container, and I would use 0.95, 0.94 of a gallon, and then a gallon worth of mix. Not a gallon worth of mix, but the container is for a gallon. So I try to mix on the rich side. I try not to go too lean because it'll burn too hot, mess stuff up. Steve wants you to use half gas, half oil so that his saw doesn't burn up and he doesn't have to fix it. So he says you should use 32 to 1. I guess if you just want to follow your plugs out all the time and stuff, but it'll keep her greased. So, yeah. But I run 40 to 1 in my ported saw. So 5 gallon mix would be less than 5 gallon. Yeah, that's how I do it. I mix on right on that borderline, try to stay right under it because the way I think of it, when I put mix in, there's always a little bit of shit left over. Even though I put gas in it and mix it around, and then when I undo the cap, it sprays a little bit of gas in my eyes. That's my favorite part. When you pour the mix into the gas, and then you are done, and you're like, damn, there's still a lot of mix in there. So you take and you put a little bit of gas in it, and you're like, I'm gonna use my thumb. No, I'll put the cap on because when I use my thumb, I spray myself with gas. I don't want to do that. So you put the then you shake it up, and you're getting that mix off of it. And then when you go to open it, psst, you get a little bit of gas in the eyes. Really, just clears your view for the day. At least for me, it does. Steve makes he does make the best faces when he starts a chainsaw. That's my favorite. He looks like he's being tortured or hurt or prodded or you know maybe getting a prostate exam. He makes that face when he starts a chainsaw, and I always think it's funny. I thought 51 would be a few drops. No, no, no. 50 to 1 would be. That's what Steel recommends. And a little 50 to 1 jug is like a little jug. It's about like this. I don't know exactly how much is in it, but it'll say on it 1 gallon worth of mix. And I believe Steel goes 50 to 1. So that's what I've always done. And I use Steel products. I use Steel mix in their chainsaws. And I would think Steel would be using the best of the best. Especially when they tell you if you'll use our mix, we'll give you an extended warranty. As opposed to using a random mix that you don't get an extended warranty. So, yeah. What else do I got? Oh my god, listen to this. I told you we changed the world. We legit have changed the world. Steve didn't show his underbelly one time this week. Not one time did you get a DHNS. So I feel like we made YouTube a better place. Switching to go, and I'm switching to clots. Right on. You still using what I sent you? Yeah, I think I'm on the last jug. Yeah, I'm on the last jug. Yeah. Yeah, Ground Pounder hooked me up with a case of the 5 gallon mixes. I think it was 6 or 8. But man, I've been using that for the whole year, I think. So you the man. 90 days is all you get for a commercial warranty on steel. No, I get if you. I don't know. I don't. Maybe just a commercial warranty, but the where I buy them, the dealerships give you an extended warranty. If you buy, I think it's 2 to 3 year. If you buy a case of that mix, they'll give you an extended warranty. That's just what they've always done with all the ones I've ever gotten. Same with my brother. So 2 year personally. Right on. So you get a lifetime warranty if you buy a Noker. So buy a Noker. Apparently, Steve will fix it until the end of time. So you can burn the clutch up like like Kansas did. He just instantly started it, blocked it, and just. So what you're doing when you leave the brake on, your gas in the saw, you're just the clutch trying to turn, and it's being locked up by the brake, and eventually you burn the clutch up, like you would in a manual car. So, I don't. I feel like some guys don't know that, but yeah, it is what it is. 2 year personal and 30 days commercial. Yeah, just say personal. Don't buy it from like I would go in and be like, I this is my personal saw that I use at home. Unless you go in and you use an account and you're getting it commercially like that. Yeah, I get that. I just try to buy all my stuff personally and do it that way. You can get much better warranties and stuff. So, and I think they should warranty those products like that. So, just my opinion. Um, so yeah, no underbelly. Really stoked on that. But he did hump the air when he ran one of his chainsaws. And I didn't like that. I think that should stop too. So, like, stop humping the air, Steve. Uh, it was a little funny, but then it like the first thrust or two was funny, and then it just went on too long. I was over it. I didn't like it. I thought it was just strange. So um, then he started to tell a story about when his dad used to cut fur and or no, Douglas fir in Idaho. And he's like, "You remember that, don't you, Dad? Remember when you used to cut them Douglas fir in Idaho?" And his dad basically was like, "No, that didn't happen." But yeah, Steve. And then he's like, "Hey, Dad, can you believe some of these idiots don't know how to start a chainsaw?" And he's like, "I send people chainsaws, and they're like, my saw won't start." And that's when he said, "You dumbass," or like he started cussing or something, being like, "Watch my viral video, stupid ass." So watch his viral video, stupid ass, and learn. Um, I second that, and think you should. Um, he has a 26 point checklist on all of his chainsaws. Um, that while they're manufacturing them, they go through a rigorous check system for quality. This is done at the factory, and Steve has um, absolute control of this factory. He controls every aspect of it, and he showed that the saws didn't have one check mark on them, so they're not doing the checklist that he asked them to do. So he's gonna have to fly back to China and smack some people around. Stay tuned for that. That's gonna be fun. Steve's going back, probably for the rub and tug, but maybe for the chainsaws too. So yeah, stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. Uh, he's building a relationship currently with a gun builder, a gun maker. I don't. I feel like Steve is silly enough that he's gonna start making guns. I think he shouldn't. You're gonna go to jail, you knucklehead. You're probably gonna do something illegal. Steve is supplying all the lawn guys with chainsaws now, and there's a lot of people starting them with their crotch. Just noticed that. The gun maker guy that he's talking to can't help but side eye him because he's like, this guy's like coming here looking like a narc, videotaping at me, and like you can tell the guy is completely weirded out by Steve. Um, but I think anybody would be if he just ran into this dude. He BS's his way through everything, and for someone who has a little bit of a detector on that, it would throw up flashing lights instantly. So I think the gun maker relationship is going to be a funny one to keep up with. ATF will absolutely find stupid stuff online. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's gonna start making AKs, and I don't think he should. I think you should just leave that alone. Like if you want to have that guy build a gun for you, have him build you a gun, and like leave it at that. He busted his hand open and to get told people to give a thumbs up, but not a bloody thumbs up. I don't really know what that was all about. Uh, oh yeah, his dad needed to remind him to put the chainsaw in the on position to get it to start. That's because his dad's older than him, has more experience. That's the only reason. And Steve was flustered. He was trying to look manly in front of his father, and he forgot to turn the saw on. But hey, that happens to the best of us. I put my spikes on backwards sometimes. Um, and Jawa made a Super 381, and I don't know about that. We'll see. Like he did a bunch of silly stuff to it. So the original Noker 381, he's already gave up on Noker. He's suing people and about to send everybody to jail over Noker, and now he's off on the Pro Mag. He's already forgot about it. And his Bugattis and stuff. So I like how Steve just jumps from one thing to the next. I think it's funny. And then the last thing, uh, he's obsessed with the weirdest little things that don't matter. like the fit and finish of the plastic, or the smoothness of something, or the ergonomics. I'm interested, is the saw run good and do what I need it to do? Power to weight ratio ends up coming into play. I guess ergonomics does matter. You want it to feel good in the hand, especially if you're using it for long periods of time. But he fixates on the stupidest little things and just doesn't let it go. Right now, he is amazed with the blue choke that he has on his chainsaws. He says, "You see that blue choke? Ooh, baby, look at that. What you know about that?" I don't. I think his chainsaws, they were originally gray or something, and he told them that they needed to paint them and make them blue. The only reason I would think you would do that is because you're looking to be deceiving to the customer and make them think that it's a true Husqvarna. And when it has a gray choke as opposed to a blue choke, it doesn't look like a 100% ripoff. So he needs it to be a 100% ripoff. So he's like, "You like that blue? Ooh, look at that blue. Make it a different color, dude." Like, I don't really understand that. I think that comes off a bit car salesman-y. But yeah, that is what it is. Guys, that was episode 31. We made it through the news again. You guys were insanely generous with all the super chats. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate every single one of you to do that. A lot of you guys are like my real friends, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. All you faithful people that show up and just support is unreal to me. I'm very grateful. You guys are the best. We'll be back next week. We'll do it again. I'm sure somebody will do something stupid on the internet. And if they don't, we always got Facebook. So, another shout out to my guy Greg Brown and Dan with Dano's Tree Work. If you got a sticker and you want to make it onto the dry erase board, send it to me. I'll put it on. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe. And a little fun in life. It won't hurt you. See you next week.